Blue Rock is a peaceful town that sits on the fringe of a mysterious forest. You traveled here to sell some of the treasures you gained during your adventures. As you make your way through the quiet streets, you are struck by the abundance of children in this town. They lounge on every corner and peer out at you from every window. As you approach the market, your feeling of unease grows. A crowd of children gather behind you. Fear and desperation lingers on each of their faces. You spot a light in the window of the local merchant. Upon entering the shop, you find many more of the young huddled near an ill-kept fire. They return your glances with blank stares. An elderly man slowly makes his way down the stairs toward the back of the shop.
"Their parents are all gone,"
he says as he hobbles up to you, leaning on a wooden staff.
"The forest,"
he says, his eyes struggling and failing to remain focused on the present.
"The forest took my people and orphaned this town. Please help us."
You agree to search for the missing townsfolk, the parents of the children. Desmond is grateful but refuses to idly sit and wait. His dedication and care are the only things keeping Blue Rock from crumbling, and he is determined to join in the rescue. You must take him with you, but if you let him perish, the town will be lost forever. Chapter 1. Beyond the Fringes. The surroundings are foreign to you, and the monsters feed off your unfamiliarity. Weak monsters become strong, not through force, but through nature itself. Alright, welcome back everyone. So, wow, I'm sure you're thinking that after such a dramatic introduction like that, this better be one heck of a playthrough. So, well, it should be. Descent is always entertaining. So, what do we have here? We have the Nature's Ire cooperative, I guess you can call it a mini expansion. It's a print on demand from Fantasy Flight Games. What it basically does is turns a two-player game, or 2+ player game, into a cooperative or soloable game. So, which is huge for someone who likes to play solitaire, especially with a game like Descent. So, I've got the initial scenario set up. The decks are all shuffled, situated, the characters are all chosen, skills are up. For this run through, we're going to be using Grisbin the Thirsty, who is a berserker, Ashrian, who is playing as a disciple, and Leoric the Book, who is a rune master. So we have our traditional party of fighter, healer, and mage wizard. So with that, I think I'm not going to go through rules, so I'm hoping you know Descent. If you don't, there's plenty of playthroughs to learn it. It follows the same core rules with a few tweaks, but the cards pretty much tell us what they're doing, and the Overlord, instead of a player, is now a deck. So it'll be telling us how, sort of like an AI, on how to use the monsters. There's a loot meter, there's a threat meter, and that'll all come out in play. So we'll go through that, once we get going, and then I'll go through their skills too once we start using them. So not important right now, but with that, I think we'll find a good angle to capture everything, and we'll get started. All right. So for the first part of this run through, we're going to go through the very first encounter called Beyond the Fringes. So there's a couple of rules here. So cave spiders do not block line of sight during the Goblin Archer's activation. So you've got a couple of Goblin Archers here. You've got spiders and another spider from behind us. So we're surrounded. You've got the party, and in the middle is good old Desmond. And Desmond, he starts with 10 health, and he can heal your characters, but that's about all he can do. So he can move, he can heal, and for his action, if he can choose a hero within 2 spaces and recover them. So we just have to keep him alive basically, and fall back to him if he can heal us. So the next is each hero that ends his turn in a water space or adjacent to 2 or more water spaces is poisoned, and that's bad because this map tile, there's almost no way around that water. and the water costs 2 movement to get through it, so it's a pain. And if there are no monsters on the map, refresh fate and discard this exploration card. So that's the fate meter. So hopefully we won't have to worry about that, but let's take the first turn now. Okay, so for the first turn, I'm going to start with Ashrian, and I'm going to have her go after this spider behind me. So she doesn't have a ranged weapon. She's got an iron mace and a wooden shield. So she's going to have to move first. That's her first action. So she can move up to 5 spaces. So she'll move up 2, and I'm going to attack with my mace, which gets a yellow and a blue. And we'll pull it back just a bit so we can see the dice roll. So the spider is not a master spider, so it has 3 health, and it rolls 1 gray die for defense. All right, so we're gonna attack him. So let's see what she can do here. So she's got 3 hits and a surge. So let's see what his defense can do. He rolls 1 gray, 1 defense. So I get 2 hits and a surge. So her surge is a stun. So he takes 2 damage and he's stunned. So I've got my stun card here. A little stun token on him. Alright, so he's stunned. So discard this card or token. It's the only action you may perform. So for one of the spider's actions, he's going to have to snap out of his stun. And he took 2 damage. So that is the end of Ashrian's turn. Alright, for the next hero, we're going to do Grisbin the Thirsty. So now he's only got a movement of 3, so it would take him 2 moves just to get close to these guys. So I'm not going to do that. I'll let them come to us right now. So I'm going to bring him back and have him actually try to finish off this spider so we can get ready for all that down there. So he's got a movement of 3, so he'll go 1, 2, 3, and then attack the spider. Alright, so his weapon is the chip great axe, and it gets a red and a blue die, and surges. You can use 2 surges for plus 1 heart each. So we'll roll his attack and the defense, so 1 gray die for the spider, like before. We'll see what he gets. Alright, so we've got 4, we have 4 hits, 1 surge, so that's 5 damage, minus 1 shield, so that was overkill. The spider's dead. So we will remove the spider from the board. So he was stunned anyway. And for the loot track, since the spider is a single square in size, we get to put 1 heart on the loot meter. And because this is a 3-player game, we're going to need 5 kills basically in order to get up to get a loot card. So that is done. And we will move on to Leoric of the Book. Alright, for Leoric, he has a movement of 4, so I think I'm going to bring him out here so he has line of sight on these guys, because this is blocked off. Probably should have started him over here, but I don't think I want to risk that range because it's pretty far. So I want to get him up in this area to kind of funnel these guys in. So I'm going to move him his 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3. I think we'll put him right here. And he's got an arcane bolt as a weapon. So it gives us a blue and yellow die. Surges give us +1 range or +2 pierce, which is good, because that negates armor. So we're going to have to roll range on this attack. He also has a passive ability called Runic Knowledge. And while you have a magic or rune weapon equipped, and that Arcane Bolt is a rune weapon, each of your attacks gains, on a surge, I can suffer 1 fatigue to gain +2 damage, so that's a good one. So we can try to one-shot one of these guys since we only get one attack. And I think we'll probably go for the spider boss, because he's got the most health and he's got the most ability. So he's down here at the bottom of the card, the cave spider. So he's got web, he's got poison on surge and +2 damage on surge, and he's got 5 health versus 3 health for the smaller spider. So we'll go for him first. Alright, so we will roll his 2 attack die and 1 gray defense die for the spider. And we're going to need at least a range of 1, 2, 3. Alright, so we have a range of 7, no surges, 2 damage, plus he's got 2 defense, so we missed him. So he takes no damage, and that's the end of Leoric of the book. His turn's over. So now we go on to the Overlord phase. Alright, to start the Overlord phase, you have the Overlord effects, and those are what is printed at the bottom of the card in red. So, since this one has a timer, or an hourglass, at the beginning of the Overlord phase, his first move is to do any of these effects, and you ignore the text unless there are 3 fatigue tokens, because of the 3 here. So at the beginning of the phase we put 1 fatigue token. So this is sort of like a timer to get us through this. So we essentially have 3 rounds to get out of this map and move on to the next segment. So this is our first round, so this won't trigger until we have 3 of these. So now we move on to monster activation. So I've drawn the top monster activation card, and they will go in order of the way they're printed on the card. So the goblin archers are going to go first, and then the cave spiders will activate second, and you complete the each group before you move on to the next. So basically this is the AI for the Overlord. It's going to tell us exactly what we need to do to manage this combat. And since there's no see if they're split, you've got red and you've got like tan. So the red would be for the boss monster, and this would be for his minions. So since the goblin archers don't have that designation, they will all follow this rule set. So let's activate the goblin archers first. Okay, so for goblin archers, let's look at this real quick. The first line basically says the hero who has the highest awareness is the target. Now, of our heroes, the one with the highest awareness is Ashrian, and she's the furthest away from these guys, so that worked out in our favor. So we can activate this in any order, so it doesn't really matter. So we'll start with this guy here in the end, and his first action is to spot the target. Since he already has line of sight, and they all have line of sight with the exception of this guy. So his next action would be to attack the target hero. So we will have to roll for his attack. And his attack for the goblin archer is 1 yellow and 1 blue die. So we're gonna have to roll his attack, right? And for Ashrian, she has a shield that she could use if she needs to exhaust it, but she normally gets a gray die for her defense. So, I mean, he's got a range of, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Basically 11 range, which I don't even know if she can do based on these die. So let's just give it a roll. So yeah, he's got a range of 2. So he's not happening. He didn't even clear the water. So that's his first action. Now they get 2 actions. So going down the card, the next action would be to spot the closest hero. So he's already has him in line of sight, so that doesn't count as his action. And attack the closest hero in line of sight. So that's going to be Leoric of the Book. And he's got the same defense die. So he's going to take his second attack, this Goblin Archer. So we got the X, so that's an automatic miss. So he's done. And we'll move on to the Goblin Chief. So we're going to go through the same order. So he's not going to spot. He's going to attack the target hero, which again is Ashrian. So he's going to roll. Now he's got the same attack die. So we'll give him his roll, and he's got a miss. Rolling good for the monsters. And we know now that he's going to follow the same roll set, so he's going to fight Leoric the Book. And he's got a range of 7. 2 hits, no surges, but Leoric rolled 2 defense. So he had the range, but he defended it. So that's the end of his turn. Now we'll move on to the third Goblin Archer, and his is to spot the target hero. So he can't spot him, so he's going to have to move so that he can spot him. Now, or her rather. So he's going to have to get into this row. So he'll go, and he has a movement of 5. So he's going to go 1, 2, and he'll stop here. And now he's got line of sight, and he's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces away. We know that they got the same die because he rolled it before. So that's his first move. That does count because he had to move to spot. So now it would be attack the target hero. So he's going to attack her, and he rolls a range of 6. So we know he's going to fall short, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he fell just shy. So his turn's over. No damage from the Goblin Archers, which is fortunate. And now we'll move on to the spiders. So the cave spider is a little bit different. Now the text here is basically if the Webbed Gulch is the current encounter, and we are in Beyond the Fringes, so we're not, then they would get some bonuses because it's sort of like their lair. But the cave spiders are simply they only have 2 choices here: either engage the closest hero or attack an adjacent hero. So we'll start with, and again, this one doesn't have the special instructions for the chief. So we will, and since the closest hero is Leoric of the Book, Mr. the Book, we're gonna have to move up. So he's gonna engage him. So engaging will be just moving up next to him. So the chief spider has a 4 movement, so he's going to go 1, 2, and now he's adjacent, so that's his engaged, and now he's going to attack. And his attack is the same, yellow and blue. We know Leoric has the gray, so let's see if we have any special activity here. So we've got 2 hits and a surge, and 1 block. So his 1 hit's going to go through, and his surge is going to be poison or +2. Now there's special rules when it comes to applying monster surges. And the rule books basically state when spending surges, first thing they're going to do is use their skills, right? So their skill would be poison. Now if the hero's already poisoned, he would move on to the next one and get the +2 damage, right? So the next one would be they would add range, they would use their special. If he had a special ability, they would add piercing, and then finally they would add their damage. So in this case, since Leoric of the Book is not poisoned, he's going to be poisoned. So that's what the monster is going to spend its surge on. So it's going to, it has 2 damage, 1 gets blocked, and let's see if I can do anything with Leoric's skills. So now if I use his ghost armor, right, because I don't really want to be poisoned, to be quite honest, I can spend 1 fatigue, and after you roll defense die when attacked, use this card to add 1 shield. So he's using like a magic shield. So he's got a lot of fatigue points. He's got 5, which is the highest. So I'm going to spend 1 on the ghost armor, and he's going to negate all the damage. So because he didn't take damage, he's not poisoned. So that Master Spider is done. So we're going to go and activate the second spider. And again, he's going to engage. So he'll go 1, 2, 3. Engage the Leoric again. And roll the same dice. Wow, okay. So, oof. So we've got 4 hits and 3 shields. So, oof. And he's got a surge. So, again, this spider's got poison, so he's going to poison him. And I'm going to spend another fatigue because I don't have to exhaust this armor. It's after I roll a defense die, I can spend a fatigue. So if I have the fatigue to spend, I'm going to spend it. So I'm going to use it again, and that should negate all damage and leave him unpoisoned. So that completes the monster activation phase. Okay, so we're back to the hero phase again. And we need to get our heroes into battle. So we've got our tank down here, and he's not really doing much, so we need to get him going. He's only got a movement of 3, so we can double move him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we'll bring him over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's going to move. He's going to take his double move, and that's really all he can do this round. So we're going to finish up Grisman's move. Actually, you know what? Strike that. Let's start over, because I can use fatigue to move him. 1, 2, 3. Now if I spend 2 fatigue, I can move him 2 more spaces and get an attack. So I'm going to hit. So he should have line of sight on this guy. He just doesn't have it over here. So I'm going to hit him with his chipped axe. And with the chipped axe, we've got a red and blue. So let's do a dice roll here. See if we hit this guy. And that is a miss. So it was a waste. But that'll end Grisman's turn. What a fantastic turn. Alright, so we have 5 movement on Ashrian. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So she can get right into the business. And at least they've protected good old Desmond here. So we will get to attack once on that big spider. And she uses her mace and gets a yellow and blue. And we know that we get a gray defense die. Alright, so she rolled 2 hits, and he rolled 1 shield. No surges. So that's just 2 straight damage. Pretty simple. No surges, so she doesn't stun him. I may use one of my abilities. So, yeah, but her abilities are all healing, so that's really not going to help us. But at least we got 2 damage done on the spider. And he's got a total health of 5, so he's got 3 more health left. And that ends Ashrian's turn. And we will go on to Leoric of the book, and he is just going to light these guys up, I think, because we don't have much of a choice here. And he's right up in his face. So he gets a blue, a yellow, and we have our defense die here. And he's going to get 2 attacks, so he's going to hit that master again. And he rolls 2 damage plus a surge against one shield. So he's definitely going to use one of his abilities. Now I can suffer 1 fatigue to gain +2 hearts due to his runic knowledge. Remember his ability. So we are going to definitely spend that fatigue. He's down to 2 fatigue, by the way. So it's going to give us 2 additional damage. So that's 4 damage, -1 is 3. 3 damage plus the 2 we had is 5, so he's dead. So we killed a master. We killed a master monster, which is really good. And what that means as far as loot goes is that he was only one space in size for his base, so we only go up 1 on the loot track. But we do go up 1 on the fatigue side of the loot track, which now lets us draw 2 loot cards when we get to 5. You still only get to keep 1, but at least you get some options. So it's good to kill those guys. But Leoric of the book still gets another attack. So he's going to hit this spider. And he gets the same dice as before, and so does the spider. And he will roll a 1, 2, 3 and a surge to 1 shield. So he does have a surge, and a surge allows him to pierce 2, so he's going to ignore, he would ignore 2 of these shields. So this gets negated, and he does full 3 damage on this spider, and this spider has 3 health, so this spider's dead, 1 shot. So I will move the loot track up 1 more to 3. We have 2 more monsters to kill before we can draw loot, but we've killed off all of the cave spiders, which is huge. But that ends the turn. So now, keep in mind, I've been skipping Desmond because all he can do is move and heal. Nobody's been hurt, so he's not moving, and he's not healing. He's just going to chill out back here. So I haven't forgotten about him. I just have no use for him right now. But I think that's it for the heroes. They're done. We are going to move over to the Overlord phase again. So as you remember, I have to put a fatigue token on this timer, so we've got 1 more round to get out of here and explore. And what happens is after this card expires, we would move the Doom track up 1, and this goes away, and then you have no active encounter. And if there's no active encounter, you start drawing these bad cards, and we don't want to draw bad cards because they're not good. Nothing good about those cards. So we're gonna have to rip through these goblins, which I don't think should be a problem, but we'll get through it. So, all right. For this phase, we are going to draw another creature movement card. Okay, so I've drawn another creature activation card. Since we only have goblin archers this time, we don't have to worry about the spiders. So there are 2 separate color sections now. So we do the minions and the master. So minions will go first, and now each attack performed by a goblin archer gains plus 20 range. So basically with this activation, these guys have no range restrictions. Not that it matters because they're kind of up in our face anyway. So we are going to activate the minions first, and their first action is to engage the master goblin archer. So they are going to get close to him, right? So he's going to do that, and now that's his 1 action. Now he's going to attack the furthest hero in line of sight. They're all the same distance, but the furthest hero is actually Desmond, because Desmond counts as a hero in this game. So we are going to have to shoot at Desmond. Now Desmond has a defense die that is gray like everybody else. He's got 10 health if you remember from the beginning. And he will get to roll 1 gray defense die. So we will roll an attack for the archer. So he's going to attack. And he gets a blue and yellow plus 1 gray for the defense. So let's see what he gets. Remember, no range restriction, so that's a miss. So he missed. His turn is over. The other archer in the back is, so that guy right here, he's got he's already engaged with the master, so he's not going to move, and he's going to get 2 attacks on Desmond. So let's see if he hits. Remember, there's no range penalty here. So Desmond rolled 2 defense. They rolled 2 hits, and a surge for them gives plus 1 range. Since they don't need the range in this, he's going to do +1 damage. So he's going to hit Desmond for 3. So that takes Desmond down to 7 health. And that's not good. We lose Desmond, we lose the game. So he's going to get a second attack on him. And he rolls 2, 3 damage. 3 more. So he's got 4 health left. So we're going to have to heal Desmond, I think. But the Master goes. So if the Master kills him, this is going to be the shortest video ever. Alright, so for the Master, his is a little bit different, right? So he's got Spot Desmond. Okay, I see you. Attack Desmond. Okay, so he's going to get a shot on Desmond. Now, he's got the same attack die. Let's see what happens here. So, alright, so Desmond blocked that one fully. So 3 shields versus 3 hits, no surges. No problem. And now he spots the closest hero, so he's going to go for Ashrian. Just shoot the one in the middle. And attack the closest hero in line of sight. So he's going to get an attack on her. And he rolls 3 and a surge. And his surge, again, is, well, his surge is +2 damage. Wow, okay, so negate that. 2, so that's 4 damage on Ashrian. So what she's going to do is use her wooden shield and exhaust this card after rolling a defense die to add 1 shield to the result. So I'll exhaust her shield. She'll block some of that damage. And since he was doing 4, now he's only going to do 3. And that's going to leave her at 7. So she's down to 7 health. And the monster activation is over. So that's the end of that round. Okay, so we're about to get into the third and final round of this encounter. But I think I'm going to end this video here, and we'll pick this up in part 2, where hopefully we can get through this first area and onto the second. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it so far, and catch you in the next video.